Welcome to the Widow's Journal and Wandering Thoughts. I am waiting for a friend. We had to go out of town for an appointment, so just waiting. It's not a bad morning here. A little humid. Sitting here thinking that I'm not sure what I'm thinking. I almost didn't make this video, but I think that I need to have a moment where I do a bit of widow journals. Just had a bit of granola bar. I'm enjoying this little curly thing. I used some foam rollers and I really like it in the front part and not so tight like it can get. Lately I've adopted the saying life is strange, and I do think that basically sums up my widowhood. Here is the only place I feel comfortable saying widow, whereas normally I can't without really wanting to burst into tears and completely fall apart. It is an unfair thing that happened to me. Circumstances out of my control. You know, when it becomes a health thing, the person who is dealing with the health issue, it's their thing to make right. You as the support person can only just sort of be supportive, and you can give your suggestions, and you can yell, you can scream, you can beg and plead, and you know, basically jump up and down on them. And if they decide not to, then there's nothing you can do. It is what it is. But unfortunately, in my case, the situation is that now I'm a widow and I am alone, and I hate it. I hate that aloneness. Ever since last September 2020, it being June now, and in those last, what is it, 8, almost 9 months, yeah, almost 9 months, it has, moving forward, has been in my head, and it's been very uncomfortable, you know, and I've tried to not let loneliness dictate the timetable, you know, because I don't want to go and do before I'm ready to go and do, you know. But what do you do when you want comfort? So I don't. Thank God for the cats, because they're amazing. But I find him sad all the time, and it can be very, very hard to find happy in my life, because there's triggers in everywhere. I can't, very few songs that there isn't some sort of a trigger. Books, movies. Watched the Goosebumps movie with the Jack Black Goosebump movie, and that had a trigger in it. So it's like, let's see, I don't have much of my curlies left back there. And so I cry a lot, and if I don't cry, then I almost cry. I was filling out the census form, trying to get that done. I haven't done one here in Canada for a very long time, and they needed to know my status, my marital status, for May 11th, 2021, as of then, and I did it yesterday, May 31st. And I ticked widow, and just about fell apart. I absolutely feel like I'm too young, and yet it's, I'm only too young compared to some. There are lots of widows and widowers who, are quite a bit younger than I am, but I feel, I don't know, it just feels weird being a widow at 49, and now I'm 49 going on 50, and I'm definitely out of that shock period, and sitting in the face-to-face with reality, and working on that. I'm definitely awake and aware, which is good, because then I'm more control of my behavior. I can sit and decide, okay, I'm not in a place to cry right now. Excuse me. I will take time later. It's more of a conscious choice. Eyebrows. At least you can still see them. They're disappearing. But, I haven't reached where I can take off my ring and leave it off. I have to wear it when I go to bed. If I forget it and it's in the cup in the living room, then I have to get out of bed and go get it and put it on as soon as I realize it. And I know where the wisdom is, you do this at your own pace and that kind of thing, and I totally agree with that. But at the same time, I'm done being sad. I don't want to be sad anymore. And I definitely don't want to be in pain sad. When I'm sad, be in pain. And sometimes it's almost excruciating when I'm sad. So yeah, there's everything triggers. There's no safe. I think I would absolutely love to have one area where in my life that doesn't include him at all. It was just something that I did that was mine. Nothing seems like it's mine. Like, I know I crochet, and that was more mine, but he was involved with that, picking out yarns, and some of the projects I did were for him, and I would ask his opinion, and I would show him, and he's like, "Oh, that's cool, sweetie." So, yeah, definitely. Even though it bounced around in my head, and I'm definitely not ready for dating. I know it's going to come sooner rather than later. I'm just too young to spend the rest of my life alone. I'm too affectionate. I'm going to draw somebody sooner or later, I know that. I just hope that when the time comes for that, I'm in a better place, emotionally and mentally, and that I make a wise decision, because I definitely don't want to put myself in positions where, you know, I'm looking after somebody again. I just really don't want to do that. I don't mind doing my 2 cents worth, you know, like if my partner needs a hug because they're having a bad day, or they need me to back down, back off because they're having a bad day, I'm fine with that. I just, doing all that dialysis, that was hard, and that is part of my grief story, and my journey is recovering from the just about 2 years of the insanity that is, of being ignored, not just by my husband because he couldn't be there for me because he was so sick, but by doctors and nurses. You know, I had important things to say and they just ignored it. And so I'm left with, in some respects, if they had listened, would things have been different? You know, probably not. But that happens. So I just really don't want to spend too much more of my life stuck. It feels like stuck in the sad place. If it's anything like with what happened with Mom, no, it won't last forever. My year starts roughly now to the end of this month, and then I'll be doing some firsts over again. I was definitely in shock. Excuse me, at Christmas time. So, thank heavens I love Christmas so much. And there are ways around all the... I'm so tired. This is an early morning video. It's not even 8 o'clock in the morning. So that's kind of rare. I might be videoing more things like that. So yes, hoping to move past triggers and find joys and live in them more now that I'm more awake, and not looking forward to my year first, but also it is what it is. And so, since we're over 14 minutes, we're like 14 and a half minutes, as always here on the Widow's Journals. 5 things I'm that I'm grateful for. I'm grateful for the support people that I do have in my life, the good ones. They've made everything so much easier for me. As always, the fur kiddos. Oh my god, the Furtastic Four. And Simon, who let me cry all over him the other night. The other, you know, I triggered, fell apart. Little man came in, bead with me, and he's wonderful. He let me cry on him, and he doesn't move or anything. He just lets me cry until he feels that I'm okay. And that's kind of like a trigger thing for me to know that the energy is shifted. Sunshine, because it's always good with the weather warming up, although we're sitting into a 3-day stretch of crazy hot weather, up into 30, up to 30, 27 to 30 degrees for the next few days. Rain. Rain means that Mother Nature waters the garden around the Crown Cottage, takes away the heat, and helps lower the barometer, which is helpful for my arthritis. And 5, what am I grateful for? Frozen strawberries. Yes, frozen strawberries. Because with a magic bullet, I can buzz those suckers up with some lemonade, maybe a little iced tea or something, and make myself something really cold on these next few hot days. Happy, the happies in my life and the prouds of me. I'm happy that for all the little things that make me happy, yarn and making videos and that kind of things. I'm happy when I see a rainbow. My plants taking the garden. I had a bunch die because the weather shifted, but so I'm happy that lots of other things are growing and being wonderful. I have seeds sprouting. And proud that I don't push myself, too much. If I'm having a bad day, like yesterday, I absolutely positively needed to go back to bed. After I woke up, I was just so groggy, heavy, and apparently didn't need more sleep because I went back to bed. It was like 12:30 after getting up and dealing with cats, make sure they had food and water, and then went pee and then went back to bed. I'm like, nope, this ain't gonna work today. And I slept till 4:30. So apparently I needed to sleep. So I'm proud of myself that I'm paying attention to me. That in my grief, I'm learning my limits. I'm learning what I can and cannot handle, and what's triggers and what's not triggers. And working with that so that I don't add more burnout on top of everything, because the last thing I need is more health issues. When I'm feeling good, arthritis doesn't bother me as much. So proud of myself for paying attention to that. So thank you for joining me. It's always great to share this with you guys. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next one.